If you're watching this, I'm clearly not Kelly in Vegas. However, I am in Vegas at the SuperBook at the Westgate with John Murray. He's going to give you a look behind the counter for some of the football games this weekend, as well as answer a few mailbag questions. So let's just get into it with college football. What are you seeing for college football week 3?
Did you introduce yourself, John? You talked as if everyone knows who you are.
Well, they don't have to know who I am. I'm clearly not Kelly. This is the Kelly and Murray Show. Not
John Hoagland.
John and John Show.
A.K.A. The Unit, social media guy. College football, sharp action. Here's one we've been getting hit on a lot in the last 24 hours. West Virginia. They play Pittsburgh on Saturday, the backyard brawl. West Virginia is now 2.5 against Pitt. Big game for me.
Your alma mater.
That's a big game for me. My sister Jessica went to Pitt, too. So we won't be speaking for a while, I would think, right? At least a few weeks after the game.
House divided, I guess.
Rutgers, they laid 5. Again, they're playing Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech not doing well the last few years. Rutgers against Virginia Tech. And here's one. College football this week, the card is terrible, right? Can we say that?
Yeah, it's
so bad.
Not as bad as week 0, but
no, it sucks though. Next week is a million times better. But the game everyone's talking about, Colorado State. Colorado, the line just keeps going up. I don't know if it's because of the Colorado State coach putting his foot in his mouth, or if the whole world is just going to bet on Colorado. All I can tell you is the line just keeps going up on the Buffaloes. I can't believe that's where game day and everyone's going to be.
Everything. I saw there was like 4 different shows this week. 60 Minutes even is going to be there.
60 Minutes. The Bears going to be there?
That's what I heard, yeah.
That says a lot about this week's college football.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Did we end up getting blasted on Colorado last week?
Yeah, we definitely did. Colorado against Nebraska was a big-time public play, heavy volume game. Colorado's they got a few games coming up. You know, at the end of this month, they play Oregon. They play USC. We're going to find out how good they are, but I don't think we're going to find out this week.
And are they going to storm the field if they
win on Saturday? Yeah. Do they storm the field after practice too?
Yeah.
I mean, after
like
winning a scrimmage.
Storm the field for anything.
Okay. That's a big win. Okay. Yeah. We'll see.
Anything else for college? You want to move on?
No, I don't want to talk about college football. Kelly is so that's the dynamic of our show. Kelly is the college person, and she's also the funny one. So without her, this is tough. But
that's why I introduced myself.
Right.
I can't just
you can't replace Kelly.
that. So I'm just here to ask the questions.
Let's do the NFL. I'm a big NFL guy. I know a lot about it.
So what have you been seeing behind the counter for, as you say, refs in week 2?
NFL, they're playing Minnesota. Minnesota, that game's Thursday night in Philadelphia. That line's come down to 6. That one for sure. Sunday night game. They've been betting Miami. Miami went from 2.5. They're now a 3-point favorite. They're in New England. I thought New England, they should have covered last week. They probably should have won that game against Philadelphia. They dominated in a lot of areas. They did lose the game. They did not cover. That was not good for us. So that's kind of me crying. Kind of sour grapes.
I had them in a contest around town. One of my 2 only losses were heartbreaking because it was the Bills.
What was the other one?
And the Patriots. Bills and Patriots, my only loss.
Colts was a tough loss.
Yeah.
If you had the Colts, I got knocked out of a contest in town on. People like to hear about your bad beats. That's what I've found over the years. I got knocked out of a contest. I had Texas Tech. They were plus 6.5 against Oregon. That was a tough scene.
That was tough.
Sticking to sharp NFL, 49ers. They led 49ers. 49ers are great week 1. They manhandled Pittsburgh, and they're at the Rams. On Sunday, they played that one. And then a team that did not look good, I'll be nice, the New York Giants. They looked awful on Sunday night, but we've seen a lot of sharp money on them. They're at Arizona. Arizona actually played pretty well against the Commanders, a.k.a. the football team on Sunday, but they did lose.
That was your survivor team.
Yeah, Kelly was nervous. Kelly, the lovely Kelly in Vegas.
It's close there for
it was. Well, no, it was 16. I think it was 16-10 Arizona. Does that sound right? And they had the ball, but Montez Sweat came off the edge, strip sack. The football team scored a touchdown, and they ended up winning the game. But they made it interesting.
So speaking of Survivor, have you and Kelly discussed that, what you're thinking, looking at this week?
We haven't talked as much as we normally would. You know, Kelly's got a lot going on. Obviously, Buffalo is a consideration. They're off of a dreadful loss on Monday Night Football against the Jets. Need this win. They're at home against the Raiders. Dallas, don't really want to use Dallas. You know, they play on Thanksgiving. They've got some other games we may want to use them in. They're at home against the Jets. the team we have been talking about, New York Giants. This is probably the opportunity to use them. I mentioned we have seen some sharp money on the Giants. They're at Arizona. They need to bounce back in a big way on Sunday. So we haven't finalized that yet. I could go rogue too. Kelly told me to just do it. So I may just go rogue and put in like Denver and not even tell her until the game's over. I might do that.
So a lot of people, I guess, would probably have this same strategy as just fading the Cardinals every single week.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it'd be harder. I think a survivor pool may be more difficult if you could only play against a team once. That might be a little bit harder. We'll see. Although, look, Arizona did not look that bad in week 1. They could have won that game. Washington, I think, turned the ball over 3 times in the first half. We'll see. Maybe Arizona throws a scare into the New York Giants. I don't see that happening, though. I like the Giants coach a lot. I like Brian Dable a lot. The wheels came off on Sunday against a really good Dallas team. I think they're going to get right in Arizona. Oh, yeah. I'm being nice. I got home from work, and it was 16-0, and that was it.
Well, they looked pretty good at the beginning because they were driving down the field, and they get held to that field goal. It gets blocked and taken to the house, and then
You should never kick.
Completely downhill from there.
So what happened? They went right down the field. They got stopped, and then they sent in the field goal unit.
Yep.
And what happened from there?
Blocked, taken to the house.
Just
and then
don't kick.
Went downhill. They lost 40-0. One last
40-0.
One last NFL topic. All over Twitter or X, whatever they call it now, they're talking about.
They call it X.
Yeah, the refunding of Aaron Rodgers props. What are your thoughts on the good karma refunds or whatever they call these?
Well, so I'm obviously a lot older than you, John. You're a young man. I think in your gambling generation, this is common. For me, when we were coming up betting, I've been betting since before I was supposed to be betting. If you bet a player prop and your guy got hurt, if you bet it over,
it's tough luck.
You just lost.
Yeah.
It never even occurred to me to be like, oh my God, I want my money. Well, of course I want my money back, but I can't. I lost. To me, it's like the same thing as if you bet under, and the game goes to overtime, and then it goes over and over. Well, shit, that sucks. You lost. Mm-hmm. I don't get it. I don't know. I think the question is, where do you draw the line? I didn't see the game Monday. I was kind of footballed out, but I heard that Rodgers got hurt on the 4th snap. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, yeah, we were talking about it a little bit before we started. So do you just void all the overs and then the unders? Are those all winners? So
I think that's what people forget about is there are a lot of people that played it under, and they all won, right? And where's the line? So we're saying that the 4th play of the game, we got to avoid everything. What if he got hurt midway through the second quarter? What if he couldn't come back out after halftime? Do we still avoid it then? Or you mentioned it off the air, the Ravens running back, Dobbins, he got hurt. I think he's out for the year too, right?
Yeah, Achilles, same thing.
But no one talked about that, I guess, because he's not Aaron Rodgers.
So at what point
does he get a refund
player,
too?
like, where do you draw the line of who is that important to get a refund like this? So obviously Dobbins isn't as important because I didn't see anyone on X talking about that, but Rodgers is.
Did you see anybody on Threads talking about it? I found out we have a Threads account.
Yeah, we do have a Threads account. Not a big fan of Threads. I don't think many people even use that anymore, but it had a good week, I guess.
We're going to stick with our rules, and our rules are must start for action. Aaron Rodgers did start. If you bet him under, you're lucky.
So we won't be seeing any good karma refunds at SuperBook?
No. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not like I'm the final voice. I mean, just to be clear, this is just my opinion. I don't agree with it. I think that you just follow your rules. I think, to me, like, I'm not even joking. That's just part of a bet. It's part of a gamble. We just go with what our rules say. Like, we remember maybe 5 years ago, Dustin Johnson fell down the stairs before the Masters. Do you remember that?
I don't know.
Well,
anyways, before I
anyways,
was following golf.
I don't know if you know what I mean by this.
Yeah.
But that was the story. He fell down the stairs. We refunded it because our rule was golfer must tee off for action. Some other books in Nevada did not have that rule. They kept the money. We did refund the Dustin Johnson place. So we just go with what our rules say.
Well, you can't go wrong if you just stick to the house rules. So
you wouldn't think, but I mean, we've had issues where people have used their radio platforms to lie about us.
Yeah, I have
tell wild
heard that.
stories and try to free roll us and just embarrass themselves. And people somehow criticize us for following our own rules.
All right,
but we're just going to keep following our rules.
Let's move on to the mailbag. Let's answer a few of these questions. I had to take a few out that were
Yeah.
I think
Offensive?
No, not offensive, but I think meant for KIV.
Okay, I could probably answer them.
These are all the Murray questions that I've got here.
Okay.
Smooth Turn 2 on X says, when playing LVCC, Las Vegas Country Club, and not in a scramble, do you get bowled on 18 with a cut driver or try to keep something in play before the dog leg right?
I appreciate that Sean thinks that I know how to hit a cut driver. No, I just hope that I somehow hit it in the fairway.
And that's on 18,
Right.
so you're getting towards the end there. I think you just got to rip it. You're either going to hit it into the Westgate parking lot or
Right.
it's going to be a decent shot.
I put it out on the street a few times.
Yeah.
I put it out on Joe Brown. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to do what he's talking about. So, no, I guess. Is that the answer? No?
That's the short answer,
Okay.
I guess.
Great.
Kevin Rourke 3 on X says, I know it's been just 1 week into the NFL season, but who would you rather have as your franchise quarterback, Justin Fields or Jordan Love?
Don't make me do this. What is this guy's name? Is that
Kevin Rourke.
Is that your burner account?
It is not, no.
So
but
John
I
is
got
a
an easy
huge
answer for that.
John's a huge Bears fan. I would take Love. I don't know about Fields. I would take Jordan Love.
Despite the score, I saw that.
Right.
I don't know. Well, PFF scores; those don't really
Mm-hmm.
matter unless it fits my narrative. But I saw that Justin Fields had a better PPF score or PFF, whatever it is.
What did you think of PPE? No, you're right. It's PFF.
PFF, yeah,
PPE is for COVID. What did you think of Jordan Love? And what did you think of the Bears? Because I saw you were
Love didn't do anything special, but
Yeah.
the Bears just made it as easy as possible on him.
you were Xing some stuff that was very negative.
I X a lot during the Bears.
Yes,
games,
you did.
but
Yes, you did.
Neither quarterback impressed me. I think they both
Okay.
suck, and
I don't know about that. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. These guys are young guys. So much of playing quarterback in the NFL is being in the right system, having the right coaching.
Which obviously the Bears don't have and have never had. That's why if they were to draft Mahomes or something, he would end up being like Trubisky or something.
So are you giving up on the Chicago? I noticed you're wearing a Baltimore Orioles shirt. They're our partner in
that's
Maryland, but
proud
you usually
partner.
wear Chicago Bears gear.
I might
Are
take
you out?
a week break. We'll see what
A
happens.
week
in
break
week
until
2.
Sunday when they play the Bucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Waterloo 352 on X says, is
Okay.
CLV still relevant when it seems like a few sharp/syndicates have massive impact on line moves? Is comparing against CLV now just comparing against certain people's opinion rather than a market as a whole? Love the show.
Is this Kelly? What was this guy's name? What was his ex?
Waterloo 352.
This feels like a question from Kelly, because she
All of these kind of do. You'll
Right,
see.
it does seem like that. She's distraught when she gets a good line and it doesn't, and she still loses. Yes, closing line value definitely matters. Yes, you want to beat the closing number. It's as good of an indicator as anything that you're on the right side. It doesn't mean you're always going to win. Try explaining that to Kelly at Waterloo series of numbers.
This one here sounds a lot like a Kelly question too. It's
They all
from
do.
LV Money 5 on X. Says, of course, I want to know what's the behind-the-counter view of Mizzou K-State this week.
I don't think I've had one discussion about it. Mizzou. I don't. What is this guy's name? LV Money.
LV Money 5.
I don't.
Sounds like a burner, maybe.
Yeah, possible. I don't know. I don't have. I'm gonna have to edit this. I don't. I don't think I've heard one conversation about it. I'm sorry. I probably should have read the questions beforehand. Sorry, Kelly's fake account.
Well, okay. Well,
That's
we'll
my
move
fault.
on to Ansel Atkinson on X. They say, I hear handicappers on WagerTalk sometimes mention that when the public gets involved later in the week, the total/line will probably move in this or that direction. But I thought it was sharps that dictated the line moves. Could you discuss what influences all the line moves?
Well, it's sharps. The sharper players move the number unless we're talking about the Super Bowl for the most part or some really, really big game. The only time you would see what's this guy's name? What's this guy's ex?
Ansel Atkinson.
The only time you'd see what you're talking about, Ansel, is if let's say we got to the Sunday night game and we'd graded all the early games and the afternoon games, and we had all kinds of liability to what's the late game, Miami. Like maybe we'll get down to the late game and we'll have all this liability to Miami from public parlays, and we'll decide, hey, we got too much exposure here. Let's bump the price up here. Let's get some New England money back. That would be one instance in which the public would move the number in week 2. Other than that, I don't think that that's going to be the case, unless you're talking about a situation where like one book could have one big VIP player make a really large bet. and then they'll decide, hey, we have too much exposure on this game. Let's take something back. But that wouldn't move the whole market.
Okay. So this one is from Nas24 on X. Also a Kelly question. She sent me these, so she either runs these all burner accounts or she picked them
Kelly is the one sifting through the questions and sending them to you?
She picked these out. She did, yeah. I looked through.
Great.
I did add one that I saw on Instagram.
They all kind of feel like they're from her.
Yeah, well, especially this one. This one is not really a question. It just says, I need John Murray to apologize for saying games don't end by one.
How many games ended 1?
I think 2 this week.
2 in the first week?
Yeah, well, the first game, the Chiefs, and then, what was the other one? Titans?
See, so here's the rub. I didn't watch those games. So, like, it only
You didn't watch the first game of the year?
No. I'm not here on Thursday nights. It doesn't count unless I see it.
Okay.
And I didn't see the Titans-Saints game because I was sweating out the Redskins because of Survivor.
So there hasn't been one game to land one because Murray did not
Because I didn't see it.
This one is not from X. It's from Instagram. rstory_33 says, is Rodgers really worth the 6-7 points that the Jets line has moved in the last week?
How do you ask a question on Instagram?
We put it on our story, and there's like this template where you can just type in your question right on the story. It's actually probably easier than X.
That sounds great.
Sometimes these ones get overlooked.
X is funnier. I don't know. That does seem like a lot of points. But you got to remember when you're talking about a quarterback's value, one of the biggest things is the backup. We don't think much of Zach Wilson. And the other reason why the line moves so much too, though, the Jets are playing at Dallas. Dallas's power rating was going to go way up after Sunday no matter what. Even if Rodgers was starting this week, that number still would have gone up because Dallas looked so dominant against the New York Giants on Sunday. Dallas right now, they look a little scary. We'll see what happens this week.
40-0. I don't know if they'll be able to do that to the Jets.
Maybe I go rogue and take Dallas and Survivor without even telling Kelly. What do you think about that?
That'd be quite the strategy, I guess.
She'd be pissed.
Well, this question is actually from @Kelly in Vegas on X. She says.
So she's asking questions into her own mailbag?
She is.
Oh, my God.
I mean, she might ask 5 of these questions, but this one says, for John Murray, what are you going to lower the Jets to if they land your guy Kaepernick?
Well, it's a good question. Kaepernick, he took his last snap 7 years ago. I think my only comment on that is now on X, don't you get paid for engagement?
You do. Yeah, the interactions, engagement.
So I would say all the media people that tweeted about Kaepernick going to the Jets or being linked to the Jets are smart because they probably got engagement from people telling them what morons they are, and they probably made some money for themselves. So who is the moron?
So he just had his agent or whatever reach out to the Jets. Who's stopping anybody else from doing it? Like, we could just throw our hats.
I don't think I could play quarterback for the Jets. You're a young man.
I don't think I could either. But
do you think you could do as well as Colin Kaepernick?
I could say I could, yeah.
Okay.
But
reach out.
I'll never have the opportunity to prove it. So
we really need you on the social media side, but I guess if you want to play quarterback for the Jets, you're off Sundays, right?
No.
Okay. Well, then you can't do it. You can't do it then.
Maybe between halftime, I could send out a few X's.
I think the Jets should go with Zach Wilson.
Yeah, probably. That's it for the mailbag, but we do have KIV's Parlay. She sent it in. We actually just got it up on the app, I believe. She's got Florida, Minnesota, and Houston. What do you think of that parlay?
So who's Minnesota playing this week? I don't even know.
I don't know. I know that
might have to do some
Florida
creative
is
editing
playing
here.
Tennessee.
Minnesota.
They play North Carolina.
Well, Minnesota looked horrible in their first game. They barely beat Nebraska, and then we saw Nebraska. Nebraska has a young man playing quarterback. I'm not convinced he's ever played football before. I don't know that this person has ever played the sport of football. Houston plays TCU. So she's fading all the teams that played their opponents played against Colorado. Is that her strategy?
I guess so. Oh yeah, that's true. And then
I'm rooting for her. I'm not going to boost it. She gets very upset if we boost things. That wasn't me last week. That was one of our young risk guys, Danny Heller. Danny did that on his own. He was reprimanded for that, and he'll continue to be reprimanded if he does that again. No boost this week, but we will have the Hottie Threesome up there on the SuperBook app.
It looked like there were a few people submitting in the mailbag that I left off that were complaining about boosting things.
People were complaining on social media?
Yeah, surprise.
Okay.
Surprisingly,
Wow,
they
that's
were.
interesting.
We did boost, though, her same-game parlay for Thursday night last week, where
It almost
St.
won,
Brown
right? Yeah.
scored a touchdown,
Yeah.
and then the Lions didn't score any
Well, we
more
boosted
for-
Chris the Bear Felica. He had a Anthony Richardson anytime touchdown
Yeah,
boosted with the Colts. The Colts should have covered.
yeah.
We would have lost. We would have really been in trouble on that one. I probably would have had to reprimand Danny. We love Kelly. We loved KoKo in Vegas, and we're encouraging everybody to donate to French Bulldog Rescue or any rescue for dogs. I think if you're donating or helping any kind of dog, John, I would be very supportive of that.
Can't go wrong with that. And actually,
No.
that's even what makes her parlays so great, too, is each one is a different rescue each week for the college football underdog parlays on the SuperBook Sports app.
We love Kelly. We want to get her back, but I know this is a tough time for her. Obviously, there's not many things worse than losing your pooch. That's about as bad as it gets. So we're thinking about Kelly. I'm going to try to pick a survivor winner for her. There's a lot of pressure, by the way. I mean, if I don't win, she's going to be really pissed. But we miss Kelly. We love her. We loved KoKo. Sad week for the crew of the show. I know yesterday everybody was really upset, and we still are today.
Definitely. And, we'll have that survivor pick on the Kelly and Murray social pages. And Kelly will be back next week, and I'll be back behind the camera.
And I might not be back if I don't pick a winner.
Yeah, that's
Right? If I don't pick a week 2 winner, get us safely through to week 3, it might be you and Kelly next week. We'll see what happens.
all right.
All right.
KoKo just fell out of her dog bed. It's like the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, that is cute.
KoKo, I'm so sorry. Don't hate me. KoKo, who are you talking to? KoKo, are you stuck? Come on, are you stuck? It's a lot of work for that little fat body. Yeah. KoKo, get it. KoKo, why do you think you're so tough? You got it, winner. KoKo, who's here? Who is that, Cokes? Who is that? Oh, you got Cedar a present.